What happens when a game builds an incredible cyberpunk world, but forgets to finish its story? Deus Ex Mankind Divided completely pulled me in with its layered conspiracies, immersive side quests, and richly detailed world building. And then the story just stops. Welcome back to the Asari Gamer, where we explore the art of video games one game at a time. As always, we'll look at this game through the lens of storytelling, world building, visual design, audio and atmosphere, and personal enjoyment. Deus Ex Mankind Divided tells a grounded story centered on fear, control, and manufactured division. You play as Adam Jensen, an Interpol agent trying to stop terrorist attacks while navigating a world that increasingly views augmented humans as less than human. What makes the storytelling so compelling is how personal the conflict feels. Billionaires profit from public fear, corrupt officers abuse their power openly, and ordinary people are simply trying to survive in a society designed to isolate them. Through all of it, Jensen acts as a steady center point. He's not an unstoppable superhero, but despite this, he's genuinely trying to hold the world together before it tears itself apart. But as strong as the storytelling is throughout most of the game, the ending completely undermines the experience. Whether this abrupt conclusion was intentional or the result of a larger development issue, the effect is the same. The narrative simply stops instead of concluding. After hours of political buildup, conspiracies, character tension, and carefully layered world building, the game suddenly skips to 1 week later with almost no emotional payoff. I honestly thought I had made the wrong choice, missed something important, or accidentally triggered a glitch, but no, that was the ending. And because the world itself feels so rich and lived in, the lack of a true conclusion stood out even more. The world building in Deus Ex Mankind Divided is excellent. Every environment feels layered with history, tension, and social decay. Graffiti tells stories before characters ever speak. Propaganda broadcasts fear from every poster, and corporations simultaneously demonize augmented people while advertising augmentations back to them. The hypocrisy of the world is constantly visible. And what really impressed me was how interactive the spaces felt. I broke into nearly every apartment in Prague, explored, and each one felt lived in. Emails, hidden rooms, overheard conversations, even the way people decorated their homes added to the atmosphere. I switched on every stove I encountered. The side quests are where the game truly shines. They aren't filler content meant to pad runtime. They actively deepen the world. One moment I was staring at a glitching advertisement, and the next I had stumbled into a fully developed questline that actually mattered. Murder investigations, media suppression, anti-augmentation drug conspiracies. Every storyline reinforced the larger themes of fear, control, and survival. Visually, Deus Ex Mankind Divided leans heavily into contrast. Cold technology and human vulnerability exist side by side in almost every environment. Historic Prague architecture is layered with holograms, surveillance systems, mechanical augmentations, and aggressive corporate advertising, creating a world that feels futuristic without abandoning its past. The black and gold visual palette gives the game a sleek, high-tech identity, but underneath that polish is constant social decay. Crowded train stations, militarized checkpoints, cramped apartments, and flickering advertisements all reinforce the feeling of a society under pressure. Even smaller visual details help immerse you in the experience. UI overlays during hacking and augment use make Jensen feel mechanically integrated with the world around him rather than separate from it. And while the interface itself isn't especially groundbreaking, it stays clean and functional enough to support the atmosphere instead of distracting from it. Audio and atmosphere are another area where the game excels, and a huge part of that comes from Adam Jensen himself. His voice actor, Elias Tufexis, gives Jensen this tired, gravelly delivery that perfectly fits the tone of this world. He sounds exhausted, restrained, and constantly on guard, like someone carrying the weight of a collapsing society on his shoulders. And he is absolutely the reason I brought Samco everywhere in Starfield. His voice acting is incredible. His performance in Deus Ex Mankind Divided anchors the entire experience.
You're my only backup on this one. Before we leave, I'd like to know you've actually got my back.
The rest of the audio isn't slouching either. Between distant conversations, glitching advertisements, humming technology, and subdued music tracks, the game constantly reinforces the feeling that you're living inside a monitored, uneasy society where nobody fully trusts each other. This is the hardest category for me to score, because for most of my playthrough, this absolutely would have earned a star. I was deeply immersed in the world. The side quests felt meaningful. The atmosphere pulled me in completely, and I genuinely wanted to keep uncovering more of Jensen's story. There are so many blank spots, but that ending, or lack of one, completely changed my final impression. Instead of feeling satisfied or even emotionally devastated, I was just confused and frustrated. It honestly felt like the game cut me off at the knees. However, context matters here. I picked this game up for around $2, and for that price, the experience was still absolutely worth it. If I had known going in that the narrative doesn't truly conclude, I honestly think I would have walked away loving the journey instead of being blindsided where it stops. Deus Ex: Mankind Divided is a fascinating contradiction. Its world-building, atmosphere, environmental storytelling, and side quests create a very immersive cyberpunk setting. But despite all of those strengths, the lack of a true ending leaves the experience feeling incomplete. For me, that brings Deus Ex: Mankind Divided to a final score of 3 out of 5 stars. It earns the stars in world-building, visual design, and audio and atmosphere. Even unfinished, this world was still worth stepping into. And after this, I think it might be time to finally play the first game, Deus Ex: Human Revolution. If you enjoy thoughtful looks at the art and design of video games, feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and join me next time as we explore another world through the lens of art.